Have you ever heard of the saying, he didn't used to be like this? Usually in the context of a wife describing how her husband is no longer the man that he used to be. More often than not, the story behind that goes unmentioned very conveniently is that the husband didn't know who he was when he was getting to know her. And his attachment to her grew to such an unhealthy level of codependence that he decided to fake a lot of things about himself rather than to show off his inner flaws, so to say. And I see it as a phenomenon with a lot of younger men now, although a lot of these are problems that have existed for a very long time, but the internet has made it a lot more visible. And that's that a lot of men are afraid to actually start seeking out potential love interests in a heterosexual sense. And sometimes that spills off into a myriad of directions. It could be hatefulness of inceldom. It can be the nice guys who don't think there's very many things wrong about them and that they're this unseen gem. And to the men out there that do think that they are this unseen gem, I understand. But just because you understand something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do or think. I can understand why people do drugs in today's society where it seems like reality is just boring, mundane. You do the same routine and you just beg for anything to break the monotony. Even something as strange as trying out heroin. It's understandable, but it's never justified. Because ultimately, you're letting the world destroy yourself faster by giving into your frustrations at the cost of growth. And so many of these men that are afraid to even try, if they truly got what they got, they would not be able to handle it in the way that they would have if they had worked and learned the discipline to earning it in the first place. So many people in this life who get what they want so quickly that they never learned how to maintain it. And that's what it was like being with my man-child of a stepfather. He had this image that I looked up to when I first met him. He was strong. He spoke with authority without being a jerk. He worked hard and he treated my mother right. It seemed like the perfect image of a man to come into my life after my own father passed away. But slowly over time, I started to pick up on how much of a facade it really was. Because I didn't find out for a very long time that he was with another woman who he did have children with. And he basically abandoned that family. And I found out for a majority of his life before he came to my States, he was a pretty sedentary person. He worked pretty hard the first few years that I did know him, but After he secured the marriage, the man that I saw was gone. He grew complacent. He felt comfortable letting out his true self that we'd never seen before. And because of that, he also grew unhealthy. And when your own body is unhealthy, that turns you into a jerk, which he was to a lot of people in my family, including me and my own mother. And seeing all these men online that feed into this idea that it's the girl's fault for not recognizing me. You don't even know half of what you need to know about yourself. Think about it like this. If you were married just tomorrow to the woman of your dreams like that and a wish, would you be able to handle it? Would you be able to understand who you are through your lack of experience in trying to earn it? And how to maintain a level of honesty that you can help your partner feel comfortable with you. Because to be honest, I think a lot of these men wouldn't feel comfortable in that spot. And that there would be always something to blame for their downfall or their faults. Because that's what it was like living with my stepfather. You would always find some sort of an excuse that he was too moody. He hurts too much to do anything. I don't want to do this because I might get chastised. And on the side note, one of the things that really frustrates me sometimes is how some jaded older figures like to think that a lot of millennials or Gen Xers or Gen Zers, whatever you want to call them, I don't think it's a valid label to put on people, but they have this view that we're lazy and that we don't try enough. And the truth is that I actually did want to go outside more. I wanted to go fishing. I wanted to go out walking. I wanted to be outside and more active. But believe it or not, it was always my baby boomer age stepfather who would say, "I'm not in the mood." I don't know what else to entirely say, but I also don't want to leave off on a totally sour note. I'm not religious, but I do believe that a lot of people can be redeemed. Not every single person on this earth. There's definitely a lot of people out there who just will not be redeemed, no matter what you do or what they do. But for those of you men who are struggling to figure out yourselves and that frustrates you, I don't think you're a bad person for that. I would think you're a bad person if you put that onto others. But I don't think you yourself are bad for suffering from this. All of us were failed by people who said that they would raise us into being responsible adults. And they failed in some aspects to teach us how to make something of ourselves. But you also don't need to rush it. I was once a nice guy. I thought, why does everybody ignore me? And I had to really put myself on a trial long before I became a young adult to ask myself, what have I done to make myself available? All I've done was just stay at home and reminisce of romantic tales, thinking of what it would be like to be involved in that kind of whimsy of human connection. I had to slap myself out of that imagination land and really say, I need to do something to make me stand out. Not to fake it until I make it, but to find something through practice and trial and error. Not everything that I have tried out is something that I've stuck to, but the things that I have found that I have stuck to have been really improving me as a person. I've been going to karaoke more often, and it's been helping me out a lot with my self-esteem. I've been talking to strangers more often and been finding a lot of really interesting and friendly people to enjoy sharing stories with. I've also found that I really like cardio and lifting weights to make my body feel happier. Mental health isn't just in the mind, it's also in the body. Because what my stepfather went through when he went sedentary for these periods, I could tell that his testosterone was down, that he was a lot weaker, pudgier, and would just find anything to complain about or to mock. Not in us always, but anything else. And the negativity would just drive me insane and make me sad. But I decided for myself not to be that way and to be more active in this world and to try to see the good things in even the shittiest things when it seems like there's nothing good to be seen. It doesn't always work, but what matters most is that you try and you find what sticks. That's all. I hope you all have a great day and stay safe. Bye.